This Raw Vision video is brought to you by Metro Solar, proud partner of the Richmond Football Club.
Well, there it is, and you know the rest of the song because you've been hearing a lot of it over the last few weeks. That was courtesy of Channel 7, but of course a familiar 3AW voice, Brian Taylor, calling the action. Trent Cotchin joins us. Thanks for holding on, Trent, and congratulations. Just give us a bit of an idea as to what it was like out on the field halfway through that last quarter. They're throwing everything at you. They've come from behind, hit the front. Was there any process between the leaders out on the ground to try and pull it all together?
Look, I suppose playing the game is a process in itself. A lot of the work we've been doing with regards to leadership on field and so forth is just playing your role at that given time. So whether that was me inside winning a contested footy or Chappie taking that intercept mark and going back and having the composure to switch the play and hold on to the footy a bit longer, and then we end up with another goal. I think every individual had a moment in that last quarter where they had to stand tall, and luckily we probably, with the last few minutes, had more of them than Adelaide.
Hey, Cotch, it must give your group a pretty strong belief that you've matured a little bit after that performance last night, because they had a tidal wave of momentum in the start of that last quarter. 4 goals, Walker was up and going, the crowd was really loud and on their back. I defied that Richmond could come back at that point, but you did and kicked the last 2 goals, as you said. It must give you a bit of belief in the group now.
Yeah, Rich, I think, as you said, we have matured as a group. Obviously, everyone's referring to our start to the year as disappointing, and we well and truly agree with that. But the reality is a lot of our guys have grown into their positions, into their roles, and it's exciting. We love playing footy and we love winning it. There's nothing better.
So, Trent, we already knew that you were a very good player, but just on you individually, I reckon you've had a fantastic month, and well done last night. You were magnificent in the last quarter. How would you assess your own past month, and did it have anything to do with the so-called acid being put on you by your teammates, which wasn't to do with form, I understand?
I suppose when things are clicking, it's a lot easier to become a better leader and a better player. But I think the credit needs to go to our playing group and our coaching group, along with some of our other footy staff who have been involved in our process this year. We've taken some steps forward. We know that there's still a lot of work to be done, but when you're doing the little things really well and consistently doing them, it makes a big difference in the results you're having on weekends. And at the moment we're obviously in pretty good form, but the reality is we've got another challenging game next Sunday against the Saints, who were beaten pretty convincingly yesterday and will be on the hunt as Brisbane did this week.
How are you coping with living in the moment? Because every single newspaper has now the run home, all the teams that can make it, who they've got to play. Clearly you've got this far by living in the moment. Is that something that the club is talking to you about, the coach, on a regular basis?
Yeah, certainly. And I think it's hard to not get caught up with how much talk there is around you. But I think we've done a lot of work, certainly over my last 2 or 3 years at the club, with regards to just living, as you said, in the moment. Each game, you've got to, the old saying is that you have to take it week by week, but it's almost down to play by play, quarter by quarter sort of stuff these days. And if you're not consistently performing, even on the training track, you're going to let yourself down at some stage, which will probably let the team down.
Do you read the papers? Did you read Gary Lyons' column yesterday in The Age, where he said that nothing short of a win in a final will redeem the Tigers this year?
No, I didn't read that one. I was in Adelaide, so I wouldn't have seen The Age or the Sun. But as I've said this year, the job for reporters and commentators in our game is to have their opinion and have people read the paper. And I think everyone's entitled to an opinion, whether or not you agree with it. You just got to take it as it comes, and the proof's in the pudding on game day, I suppose. If you're performing, then no one can complain.
Trent, I love looking at the mechanics of leadership and the captaincy, and I know you're a humble person, but Jack Riewoldt, we can't always trust what Jack says, because he said you were trying to play like Hawthorn and the coach come out and said you weren't, but he did come out a couple of weeks ago and say that you, individually as a leader, should take a lot of credit about this turnaround, because you have got harder on individually on players within the group. Is that true, or is it? Can you just take us to where that statement might have come from with Jack?
Oh, look, it's probably just... I've probably gone back to more so just my natural way of leading. I was probably trying to be the perfect leader. You don't want to stand on too many people's toes, but the reality is you're voted in by your peers because they think you have something to offer the group as a leader, whether it be the way you're playing, the standards you're driving, etc. So, I think it was just by having that feedback by my peers gave me the confidence to grow and go back to the basics of probably what gave me an opportunity to become the leader of a proud club.
As an individual, were you combative enough as a captain? Because you have to be as a captain to run, to lead like that. You can be you can have respect. You like a lot of them, but you don't respect a lot of them how they go about it. Like when you're a captain, were you combative enough in that role?
I probably just needed to say more when I saw it. I felt that initially spending more time with individuals and so forth was my go, being a younger leader, and I feel that you need to have the relationships first before you can start whacking blokes, which I feel I've really grown with, especially a lot of our younger guys, and now I feel that I'm in a position where if I see something out on the track or in the change rooms, I can just not so much whack blokes, but just put them on notice and make sure that they take a step forward rather than one backwards.
Good on you.
Trent, you would have been pretty confident that last kick inside 50 and Dustin was able to be one out. It's a real weapon, and he's won a couple of games like that this year where you can isolate him one out late in a game, and he's kicked it, I think it was Carlton earlier in the year, now last night. It's a real weapon for you.
Rick, I remember the actual situation as I think it was Benny Lennon kicked it inside 50. I almost half prayed that Dusty won the contest and went back and kicked the goal. I was spewing that he didn't take the mark, but I suppose it ran over the back and there was 2-on-1 anyway, so it looked pretty certain. So, it was a sigh of relief, certainly from my point of view. But, exciting. I mean, Dusty's a fantastic player. He's had an awesome year from an individual point of view, but what he's done for our team, and I think he was one of the guys that really stood up when our backs were against the wall and the most consistent performer. So, credit to him. He's backed up his form from last year and carried it through and hopefully finishes off the season on a really high note.
Now, you're captain of an AFL team. You've got a lot on your plate, but it's about to get bigger, Cotch. You've got a baby on the way. You ready to go with that?
I don't know if you can ever be ready until it comes, Richo, but very exciting. I mean, there's been a couple of guys that have gone through it this year, so always asking questions, and the number one advice is making sure that I get as much sleep as I can at the moment. So I am looking forward to it. It's exciting. I'm due grand final week, so who knows and what sort of things will be on the card at that stage. But I'm just excited to start a new stage and chapter of my life.
Well, sure, he just whispered to me, you just pretend you're asleep when the baby starts crying.
Pretend you're asleep? I don't know if I'll get it that easy.
Matthew Richardson giving Trent Cotchin fun.
No, sure he did, not me.
Now I've heard it all.
Trent, great to have a chat. Has the song ever sounded and felt so good?
Oh, you can probably sense in my voice it's still a little bit croaky after we belted it out, which is good. I mean, I think most weeks we sing it with a fair bit of passion. As people say, it is the best song in the competition, but last night was a special one, that's for sure.
It was a very special win. Congratulations, and it's great to have a talk to you in the aftermath. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy the day.